All right. Welcome to all. If you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button, like or dislike, share if you care, leave comments, add me to your playlist. I'm in someone else's house right now. Not physically. Physically, this is my house. But to the different venues that I reach out to, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, VSkit, Triller, Patreon, Instagram. They all have their own house rules. So there's certain things I just cannot say. Like before, I moved with reckless abandonment, and I was wondering how come my videos kept getting canceled while my memberships kept getting suspended. Why I always ended up in social media jail. I'm here today because I've learned during my time off, I've learned how to check my behavior. I've learned how to calm myself down. Yes, they need to hear the words. The people need the information. Some of them want the information. Some of them need that information desperately, and you can't give it to them if you're suspended, if you're in social media jail, if you have gotten your membership revoked or taken away from you. There's certain things you can't share anymore, and you'll find yourself in a dark room, alone, cold, lonely, without friends. I went from 5,000 friends on one site to 5,000 friends in a group and 5,000 friends in another group to absolutely ground zero. And during my time away, I learned a few things that will help me to arise to the occasion now and give my all, give my best, and reach those that I want to reach those that I need to reach. So it's up to me to make sure that I pull back on the reins, make certain that I make things a certain way, that I use wisdom, create a platform, reach the masses, and go on from there. So without further ado, today's topic, to V or not to V. And you know what I'm talking about. That is the question. People say, aren't you going to get the V? It's my body, it's my choice. I have to make a choice concerning that based on what I feel comfortable with. And I cannot begin to speak against something that someone is for. It's their choice. It's their decision. I can't tell someone get it or don't get it. And their job is telling them get it or buy. Get it or say goodbye to your pension, to your retirement fund, to your savings, to your livelihood. I don't have room in my house to fit these people that would listen to me making gestures and demands and saying do this and this is going to happen and do that and that's going to happen. You have to make your own decision. It's your body, it's your choice. Some will say, oh, but the masses are looking at it this way. If you're going to live amongst the masses, then they're going to make a demand on you that will be difficult for you to deal with. And the only way you'll be able to live as you wish is if you get off the radar and you come amongst the whatever land you find yourself in and live the way you want to live. As long as you are still in their governments, as long as you are still in their systems, as long as you are still amongst the people, you're going to have to follow what the restrictions are, what the rules are, what the regulations are. When you go into someone else's house, if the sign says no shoes, then you got to take your shoes off if you wish to be in that particular house. The only way you're going to do what you want, as you want, when you want, is if you create a better life for yourself. If you create a new life for yourself, if you create a place, an environment where your rules matter, where your rules are important. You can put your signs on your walls. You can put your signs on your doors. When you come into certain platforms, especially when it comes to social media and you're not the one that's the founder, there are certain rules and regulations that you have to follow, or you're going to have to suffer the consequences. Whether a job, whether a task, whether a challenge is large or small, do it well or not at all. When you're in a place where what you say goes, then by all means, unless you figure out a way to manifest, to create your own streams of income without them. Otherwise, until there's a mandate put upon you, you have to make your own decisions. You have to decide what is best for you. I can't do that. I've tried to do that. And I've discovered that people are going to do whatever they want to do anyhow. But I'm walking gingerly. But those that know me, you know what time it is. You know what I've decided. You know what I'm doing. But I can't choose for you. Only you can choose for you. If you're in a position to do that, do it well. Whether a task is large or small, do it well or not at all. To be or not to be is the question that you, the individual, are faced with. I can't tell you on this platform what I'm up to. I can only say you make your decision and you make your decision wisely. What works for you. I'm not the one paying your salary every year, annually. I'm not the one paying your salary monthly. I'm not the one paying your salary bi-weekly. I can't decide for you. Only you can pick the avenues, the pathways that you want to. Only you can do that. I have to be very careful so that I can reach those that I need to reach. So I have to use wisdom. I have to use understanding. I have to be smooth with what I'm doing. so that I can last more than 1 month without going into social media prison. So you make the choice that works for you. You know in your mind what you want to do, but you have to be willing, and you have to be able to make a decision and stand upon that to the best of your ability. I've made wrong choices in my life. I've made bad decisions in my life. Who am I, a bad decision maker from time to time, to tell you what to do with your life? I've learned to stay out of other people's business. It's their business. They have to live with it. I had a friend of mine, former friend of mine, she left. She got tired of my rules and regulations in my house. She left. She got the V. She decided to V. And I remember getting all on her case and saying, why? You know this and you know that. And she told me, I made my decision. Can't you just be happy that I'm alive? Can't you just be happy that I'm still alive? I've made a decision. I've made a choice for my life. I can only be the captain of my ship. And I heard those words. I had to put my pride aside and say, people are people. What they decide to do with their lives is their business. Who am I to scold them, to punish them, to look down upon them because of their decisions? I've made decisions in my lifetime that many have looked down upon. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Why would you do that? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Are you inconsiderate of others? Yeah. I've made decisions that no one has agreed with. But I had to make a decision based on what I was willing to live with. I can't live for everybody else. I can only live for one person, and that's myself. You can't even live for your own children. You can't live for your own friends. You can't live for your own enemies. You can't live for your own frenemies. You can only make decisions based on what is good for you, what is comfortable for you, what works for you. Start doing the things that are comfortable for you. Sometimes you have to do the things that are uncomfortable for you so that you can switch up and make some changes, so you can begin to build yourself and be the best version of yourself. But I can only make decisions for me, and you can only make decisions for you. To V or not to V is a question that you have to answer for you, and I have to answer for me. And all we can do is see what it's going to be as we V or not to V. All we can do is see at the end of that, who's right, who's wrong. You can follow a crowd all you want. You can follow the masses all you want. Whatever you feel comfortable with, that is the thing that you do. You decide for you what you want to do. I can't sit up here and make those choices for you. The path that you choose, you have to walk in those shoes. The path that you choose, you have to deal with whatever's on that path, and whatever comes to that path, and whatever's in that path, you have to do for you. I have to do for me. Yes, people say, well, you have to be held accountable. I can only do what I can do for me. I have to start with the person that I see every day in the mirror. That's the person that I have to start with. That's the person that I have to begin with. I can only make decisions that I'm willing to live with. And you can only make decisions that you are willing to live with. And then we'll see how things will be, how things turn out. If your team wins, your team wins. If your team loses, do you abandon your team? Do you abandon them? Do you follow the fair weather friends? Birds of a feather flock together. Make your decision based on what you believe in your heart and your soul. You can't always follow the crowd. What if the crowd's wrong? What if the crowd's right? What are you willing to live with? Choices that I made in my lifetime, I made those choices. Whether they were encouraged by others or not, I made those choices. So I have to live with those choices. I make my bed or not. I have to lay in it. I have to lie in it. I have to be comfortable with the skin that I'm in. I didn't choose the life that I had, but I made decisions that made things go a certain way. I have to be big enough. I have to man up, soldier up, warrior up, and say I have to live with the decisions that I've made. I have to face those demons or those angels or those consequences. I have to deal with that. So, to be or not to be is the question that you have to answer for yourself as I answer for myself. Your job is important. You have to follow those rules. The money that you're seeing right now is connected to those that are ruling over you, those that are managing over you. It's their house. I've learned a long time ago, one of my best friends can tell you this, Chauncey, he can tell you, you can't go into someone else's house and put your feet on their couch, especially with your shoes on. It's their house. Who are you to put your feet on their furniture? I wasn't too wise back then. It's kind of silly and foolish. Straight out of the Marine Corps, I felt invisible. And I felt invincible. And I felt individual. When you're in someone else's house, in order for you to stay in that house, you have to abide by their rules. When I reached a certain age, I said, I got to get out of my father's house. Rules. A house full of rules. Who am I to buck against that? It's his house. And he could just tell me, son, get your own house. You want your own rules? Get your own house. You want to live as you want to live? Make your own money doing your own thing. As long as you're in someone else's house. If you have a choice about what you can do and not do, fine. If you have that liberty, fine. But when you're in their house, it's by their rules. I'm coming to you streaming on someone else's platform. So I have to be careful. Or just create my own platform. Working on it. But to be or not to be is a question that you have to answer, because there's no room in my house for you. If you try to choose something that you think, let me follow him. No, I don't need followers. I make mistakes. I don't need people following me. I make mistakes. If you follow me, it's because of your own decision. It's because of your own choice. I don't want 5,000 friends on Facebook just to have them. If you want to be a friend, be a friend. You want to be a follower, be a follower. It's your choice. I can't be held accountable for your decisions. You have to decide what you want to do. People are doing it. People are saying enough is enough. They're getting off the radar. They're saying enough is enough. They're figuring out how to raise their own funds, how to get their hustle on. People are doing it. That's a big, bold step. To leave and depend on your own resources, depend on your own way of hustling. That's not easy. Been there, done that. Not easy. I have an issue with working for people. I would go to work every day and shake my head when I was working. I'm following this crazy person. I'm following this miserable thing. I had to make a choice one day and say, you know what? I'm done like a honey bun. I'm out. And from there, make my own decisions, my own choices, and live with the consequences, live with the outcome. So I've made my choice. Make your choice. You are in a valley of decisions. Some of you are filled with great despair because you don't know what to do. You want to do the right thing. You want to be politically correct. That's a little bit too much for me. Takes a certain type of person to do a certain type of thing and feel comfortable with it. It's your body, it's your choice. To be or not to be is your decision. But you choose this day what and who you will give service to. Sometimes you make decisions, you'll find yourself alone, depressed out of your mind, no one to talk to. Even yourself doesn't want to talk to you. Self is like, I don't want to hear it. No one wants to talk to you. Can you withstand that? Can you go through that level of pressure? Some people give in because it's like, well, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing it. Let me just do it too. You're going to find yourself with a great deal of heartache if you just say, I'm going to follow these people here, they're doing it, let me do it too. It's nothing worse than waking up in the dawning saying, wow, I messed up. I was pressured into following what everyone wanted me to do, and now I have to live with it, and I wish I didn't. You know, some people commit suicide because they make decisions because everyone else made decisions about something and they had to try to fit in where they get in. They found themselves trying to fake it till they make it because everyone else was doing it. And they didn't want to feel left out. They followed the crowd. They followed everyone else. When their life fell apart, they didn't know what to do, so boom, suicide. Some people are in jail right now because, their friends were doing this, so I followed along and now I'm locked up with all of them. You have to be willing to come away from the crowd and make your own decisions. Choose what you want to choose rather than going along just to get along. To be or not to be, that is the question that only you, person that you see every day in the mirror, can answer. For those of you that are alone, the first person you generally see is the one that you see in the mirror. For those that are with whoever they're with, first person that you see is them. Decide for you, make decisions for you, live for you. To be or not to be, that is your decision.